Hey everyone, it's Cindy and welcome back to my channel, or if it is your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. It's great to have you here. Today's video is a replay of Feel Good Friday, which took place on the 1st of September over on my Facebook page. And the subject is the number 3 challenge as voted for by mums on my page. In the school holidays when you have a business. And the kids are about to go back now, so it's kind of a bit late, but it's a really relevant topic because it's all about guilt. And parents, we suffer from a lot of guilt. We like to have a lot of guilt in our lives, and so I talk about some ways to get around that, to stop feeling guilty when you're spending time on your business instead of your kids, or on your kids instead of your business, or whatever you feel guilty about. So if you think that's going to be helpful, then just keep watching. Good morning everyone, it's Feel Good Friday, and today we're talking about what to do if you feel guilty, particularly when it's the holidays or any time you're spending time with your business and you feel like you should be with your family and you get that guilty pull, that feeling, but also when you feel guilty at any time. So in today's life we're all looking for balance between all the different things. We're pulled in so many different directions, and it's so tricky. It's a real challenge to find that balance in our lives and to feel that we're doing enough in all the areas of our lives. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, pulling it down into the sort of specifically into feeling guilty. But what I'm going to be sharing with you today is going to help you in all different areas of your life, not just about feeling guilty, not just to do with family and business, but just kind of it's a good way of just thinking about life. So with that in mind, my aim today is to help you find some balance and to let go of guilt. And I'm going to do that in 3 parts. In the first part, I'm going to talk to you about balance. In the second part, we're going to be exploring a little bit of mindfulness. And in the third part, we're going to be talking about kindness. And all of these things are going to help to alleviate any feelings of guilt in life. So just noticed that Tina's on the call this morning. So morning, Tina, lovely to see you. And I hope you're doing well. So let's get into part 1, which is all about balance. So you may notice that in my cover picture up at the top of the page there, it's, as if you're watching on Facebook, of course, it says, is my strap line, empowering working mums to have it all. And that's a big claim, and I'm aware of that. And often people take it to mean that, you know, for women that women have to have, you know, a career and children and all this kind of stuff in order to be fulfilled. But that's not what it means. What it means is to have the life that, for women to have the life that they want, for you to have what you want in your life, what balance means to you, and what having it all means to you. So that's what I do with my clients, is I help them to discover what it is that they really want. And I help them to discover what they might be doing to stop themselves, and also then to clear that stuff through and be able to move forward more easily. In case I haven't met you yet, my name's Cindy Davis. I'm the Feel Good Coach, and that's the kind of work I do with my clients all day, every day. And it's what I love to do. And I've been coaching for a few years now, 7, 8, probably longer. It feels like no time at all and a long time all at once. But my passion is to help people to get out of their own way, to really stop sabotaging themselves. So we're talking about balance, and I've got that strap line in my header photo on my page there and all over the place. And that's what it really means. It's what having it all means for you and what's stopping you from doing that right now. And let's get rid of that as quickly as possible. So when we're talking about balance, quite often we think that that means giving equal time or energy to every part of our lives, and that's not what that means either. So we're debunking a few myths here really today. There's no way to have that equal balance between everything, and it's not going to stay the same either. Even if you did get set to a perfectly equal balance, it's never going to stay the same because things are always shifting. What it's really about is finding the parts where you want to spend more of your energy and the parts that don't need as much of your energy, or that you're willing to sacrifice a bit of your energy to go into the thing that wants more energy. So coaches quite often use that wheel of life. I'm sure you'll have seen them around. I know for a fact that you will have, Tina. And it's basically it's a circle, and it will have a bunch of prongs through it, like spokes. And each section will be a different area of your life. So it'd be relationships, career, financial, spiritual, physical health, emotional health, and all the different aspects of us as human beings. And then what we are asked to do then is to rate each area of our lives on the spokes, and what you get is a picture of how bumpy your ride might be, how lumpy your wheel is. And the truth is, if you do find that one of those areas is a bit lacking for you, so if you feel like you're not having enough time with your family, or you're not having enough time with your business, the truth is, in order to make the time go up in that spoke of your wheel, you're going to have to take some away from somewhere else, because there is only so much time in the day. You only have so much time, and trying to do all things in all areas is just futile, and it's just a recipe for burnout. You might have had an experience where you've been trying to do all of that, trying to do all of those things, whether you've got a family or not, whether you've got a business or not, all those areas of your life, trying to make all of them be top notch is you've probably experienced trying to do that and then not being able to sustain it. And it's simply because, we can't do that. It's too much. Something has to give eventually. So the key really is to thinking about which are the things that at this moment in time you want to be putting more energy into, you want to be giving more of your time to. So that's what balance means in this context. Where do you want to be putting your energy and your time? So in the school holidays, when you've got kids and you've got a business and everything, perhaps in the holidays you want to put a bit more time towards family. So therefore time has to come away from something else. So it might come away from business. It might come away from TV time in the evening with your hubby or partner. It might come from spiritual time that you have. You might need to take some of that time temporarily to put more into family. And then when the kids go back to school, it's time to reassess. You can look at everything again and go, okay, so now I've got more time while the children are at school. Where do I want to be putting that in my wheel? If I'd planned ahead and been really clever, I would have drawn out a wheel for you to show you. But I'm sure you've got a reference for what that looks like. If you haven't, I'll grab an image from somewhere and put it in the comments later. But that's really what it's all about. It's about finding the places where you can take a little bit of time and energy and invest it somewhere else in your life for however long you want to. And that's why it's really good to be clear about this stuff. And in the holidays, a lot of mums will try and still do everything in their business that they normally do, and do extra stuff with the kids and family and everything, and still do all the other things that they normally try and do. And what happens is they get frazzled and stressed and everything. And by the time the kids go back to school, they're exhausted. And quite often end up getting ill or, falling over in some way, so that in fact they end up getting less done overall. And I've experienced that myself. And if you're watching on the replay or you're on live and you can identify with any of this, then, do please comment below, because it's helpful for everyone to share and acknowledge that this is what we do to ourselves. And even for those of us who don't have kids and don't have school holidays to worry about, there's still times where we've got more or less time to spend on our business or the thing that we really, really want to be working on. And we have to just accept that that's the way it is. And either we take some time from somewhere else and put it into that, or we just accept that we can't do as much. There's absolutely no point arguing with the way things are, because that's the way things are. The practical thing we can do is look at where we can take the time from. I hope that's making sense. Do let me know if I'm not making sense, and I will do my best to clarify. But what I'm trying to get at is there's no point beating yourself up for not getting as much done in a certain area of your life if you haven't taken some time or energy from somewhere else to put more into it, because that's just not going to work. So that's balance. That's balance. It's not about everything being equal. It's about finding what works for you in your wheel of life, in all the areas of your life where you want to put your energy at certain times in your life. And there'll be other times later where you might want to put more into your spiritual side, or you might want to put more into your relationships or family, wider family, and things like that. So it's a constant reevaluation. Where am I putting my energy? Where do I want to be investing it? Because time is your time is a precious commodity, and it is investment. It's an investment where you spend that time. And that wheel of life will help to, even just having a mental image of that, help you to remember that you have to take a little bit from there to put it there, and then a little bit from there and put it there, if you want to put extra into those areas. Hope that's making sense. That's kind of what I really wanted to get across this morning about balance. Okay, so we talked about balance. Oh, hi, Elaine. Thank you for your comment. Let me have a look. I've definitely taken a step back in business this summer, but I have plans for when school term starts again to get business back on track. And that's perfect. That's absolutely brilliant, Elaine. And it's acknowledging that, you know, things do have to go on hold a bit in the holidays. I don't have school age kids at the moment. Mine have all grown up and doing their own thing, but I definitely remember those days. But my challenge has been a health challenge, and I've had to take a step back during this summer and actually not move forward with plans that I've wanted to move forward with, and focus more on my health. And that's fine too. But it took me a while to get to the point where I could acknowledge that, okay, I'm not going to do everything. I can't do everything I wanted to do. Let's take a step back. I've chatted with a few people. I've talked to my book coach. We are going to launch my book in the new year, probably February time, rather than trying to rush and get it out now, because I just don't have that energy to put into that area of my life. And it's great, Elaine, that you were able to take that step back and acknowledge that you needed to take your foot off the business pedal for a little bit. And then, you know, kids go back to school and you can reinvest your time in different ways. So that's brilliant. Thanks for your comment, Elaine. Much appreciated. So that's balance in the way that I think of it. So not like a set of scales that balance equally, but finding something that works for you and that feels right, because that's the most important thing. So that's part one, balance. Let's move on to part two, which is all about mindfulness. And the reason I've put that in here is because when we're feeling guilty about spending time with the business instead of the kids, or the kids instead of the business, or about anything in the world that we feel guilty about, it's usually because we've been doing something horrible to ourselves. And that thing that we've been doing to ourselves is called shoulding on yourself. Don't should on yourself. Just don't do it. How many times a day do you say to yourself, I should X, Y, Z? And we're with the kids. You know, I'm the same when I've got my grandson. I look after my grandson every now and again, and I'm with him, and I think to myself, oh, I should be looking at my emails, or I should be I should be writing my next talk for Feel Good Friday, or I should be this, that, and the other. I should be working on my book, and I should be doing lots of things. But at the end of the day, I will get more pleasure from that moment if I can be mindful and bring myself back into that moment. And when we're shoulding on ourselves, we're beating ourselves up for not doing something else rather than what we are doing right now. That's often the case anyway. Hang on, I can see that Tina has commented as well. Brilliant, thank you. So Tina says, I agree that at different times we need to spend more time on different areas of our life. I use the wheel, but not related to the amount of time spent on those areas. It's more about the goals you have in each area and how happy you are about each aspect. Great, that's a brilliant use of the wheel, Tina. Thanks for sharing that, it's great. going back to shitting on ourselves is something we all do to a greater or lesser degree. Do drop me a comment in the comments there below if you have ever shoulded on yourself. I think most of us do. The trouble with that is we're taking ourselves away from the thing that we're doing right now. So if you're, say it's the school holidays and you've got a bit of time to work on your business and your kids are happy doing something else, you've asked for someone for help to look after them perhaps, and you're working on the business and there's that nagging thought, oh, I should be with the kids. It's a lovely day. I should be taking them to the park. Yeah, Tina, I'm an expert at that too. Oughts and shoulds. It just saps your energy. It saps your energy and it makes you miserable and it stops you from enjoying that thing that you're doing now. And then quite often as mums, them spending time with the kids thinking, oh, I should be checking my emails, I should be doing that work for my client, I should be following up from the networking I did the other week, and all that kind of stuff as well. So in either scenario, we're not happy and we're not enjoying that moment that we're in. I talk to lots of mums who are in that situation. And we do it in all the different areas of our lives, not just to do with parenting and business and everything, but we do it all the time. And it's not helpful. So stop it. Stop doing it. And the way to stop doing it is with mindfulness. Excuse me. So mindfulness in its essence is just being in the moment. It's being in the now. It's enjoying what you're doing right now. Mindfulness can be as simple as when you're perhaps doing some washing up, really sort of feeling the hot water on your hands and smelling the fragrance of the washing up liquid and hearing the sounds of everything clinking together and noticing the water running off the plates as you rinse them and all of that being in the moment can make even something like washing up a really beautiful experience, which sounds ridiculous, but that's what mindfulness does. So imagine a scenario where you're doing the thing that you have chosen to do, or maybe even something you haven't chosen to do that you feel like you have to do, but making it into a mindfulness experience where you are appreciating every little moment, because that's your time, it's your life. Those minutes of your life that you're investing in that thing that you're doing, why not get the most out of them in every way, even if it's something boring or something you don't want to do. I don't particularly like ironing, but occasionally I do it, not very often. And but when I do it, I try and be really appreciative of what I'm doing and be mindful while I'm doing it. And it makes it into something a lot more fulfilling, which sounds ridiculous. Doesn't make me want to do ironing any more than I already do, but when I do iron, it makes it a more positive experience for me, and it doesn't drain my energy the way it would if I was thinking about it the way I used to, which is grumbling to myself about all the ironing that I have to do and I don't really like it and why can't people iron their own stuff and blah blah blah. That's a whole different experience that I would be having. So it's not about some fancy thing you have to go and sit away somewhere and have peace and quiet and meditate or anything like that, although I highly recommend meditation. Look back a few weeks ago and you'll see I did a video about meditation. But it's about being in the moment that you're in. So right now I'm talking to you and I do have a plan for what I'm going to talk about. Otherwise we literally would be here for about 3 years, because I can talk for a long time. Tina, I know you know that. And when we get together, we can talk for a long time. So I have a plan, but I don't have a script written out. I'm in the moment. I haven't planned out exactly what I'm going to say. I literally just have a heading. And I'm in the moment and the ideas are coming to me. I'm receiving them from wherever ideas come from. And I'm translating them for you so that hopefully you can receive them too. In the moment. This would be a very different video if I had a script and I was reading from it, wouldn't it? It'd be a very different video. And instead of being something that's a chore, could easily be a chore doing something like this. I mean, I love it, but it could be a chore. But because I'm in the moment and enjoying it, it's giving me energy. It's not taking my energy away. And hopefully in that way, it can translate more easily for you, and you can take on the information more easily because of the way it's being transmitted. But mindfulness is not some special thing you have to go away and do. Mindfulness is just all day, every day, whenever you can remember to be in the moment. And I'm not in the moment for most of the day. I get caught up in thoughts and everything the same way as everyone else. Worrying about the future, thinking about the past, thinking about something else while I'm driving the car, or even loading the dishwasher and listening to an audio book. So that's not mindful, is it? That's multitasking. So I'm not mindful all day, every day, but there are moments in my day where I make a point of being in the moment, particularly things like this where I'm talking to you guys, or if there's a task that I particularly don't want to do, then becoming mindful can really help. And that's how we can stop shitting on ourselves. And that's how we can stop feeling guilty about the time that we're spending doing this thing when we think we should be doing that thing. Because it's all a choice. And if you've chosen to put your energy into this thing right now, well, then enjoy it. Because otherwise, what's the point? Okay, so that was part 2, mindfulness. This session is really kind of spiritual today. I'm enjoying it a lot. So part 2 is about mindfulness. Let's move on to part 3, which is all about kindness. And kindness in this sense, I'm talking about kindness to yourself. So when we are feeling guilty, it's because of the conversation we've been having about what we should do and all that kind of stuff. And what I want to urge you to do today is to set the intention of speaking to yourself as if you were your best friend, because ultimately you are. You are your best friend, and talking to yourself in that way, again, is a lifesaver. It can literally change your life. And I know from my experience and from all the people I've talked to that you, everyone on this, who's watching this video, on the replay or live, even an audio version that maybe I put out, everyone who is receiving this information right now has spoken to themselves in a really, really nasty way, probably quite recently, and it didn't feel very good. And the thing is, when we speak to ourselves that way, it's completely counterproductive. It doesn't make us be any more effective. It doesn't make us get the thing done. Or maybe it does eventually, but it feels like crap. It feels awful. And it's not the best way to get ourselves to do stuff. The best way is to encourage and cajole and talk ourselves into it, not to berate ourselves and shout at ourselves and be mean. Imagine you had a small child and they were trying to build, a tower with blocks and they were struggling with it. What if you were talking to that little child and you were saying, well, you're never going to do that. That's impossible. You're rubbish anyway at building towers. Look at that, you dropped one again. How clumsy are you? Why are you so clumsy? Look at that. Why do you keep dropping them on the floor? You're never going to build a tower that way. You're a loser, you are. Now, that's really mean. And no one that I know would talk to a child like that. However, I'm guessing you can recognise some of that in the way that you talk to yourself sometimes. And if you can, this is your chance to set this intention, to notice when you're doing that and to turn it around. And to speak to yourself like your best friend or like a small child who's trying to learn to do something new. That's it. That's it. Do it like that. You're doing it right now. Oh, never mind. Yes, you've dropped one, but that's okay because you're learning. So now you can pick one up and have another go. That's it. Keep trying. You're doing really well. Imagine if we spoke to ourselves like that, with kindness and encouragement. So that's my challenge to you. I want you to take that on board and begin to speak to yourself in a really, really kind way. So that's the end of part 3. I want to pull it all together for you now in a summary. We have talked about balance and about how it's not about getting everything equal, but about recognizing that sometimes we need to take energy from some place in our lives in order to put more into another part, and that we can't be all things to all people, and we can't do everything all of the time. We need to make choices to get the balance that works for us. And in the second part, I talked about mindfulness and how being in the moment can stop us from shoulding on ourselves and help us to let go of that guilt of doing the thing that we're doing now instead of something else. And in this third part, I've asked you, encouraged you, urged you to be kind to yourself and speak to yourself as if you're a small child who's trying to learn, or as if you're your best friend, because you are both of those things in some way. My aim today was to help you find some balance and to let go of guilt, and I hope that what I've shared with you today will help you do that. And I have a call to action at the end of my videos, and today it is literally just be nice to yourself. Okay? Comment below if you're going to be nice to yourself from now on. I'd love to know that you've made this decision, that this is what you're going to do. If nothing else, imagine I'm on your shoulder reminding you to be nice to yourself. So next week, I've got a special guest, and it's the wonderful Sharon Branner, and she does a lot of different things, but she is going to be talking to us next week about laughter yoga, which is an incredible tool, and I want to find out more about it, which is why I'm interviewing her. I've known Sharon for quite a few years now. We've done some tapping or EFT together, and we've got quite a lot in common. We really get on like a house on fire, planning an event next year and all sorts of stuff. So great things coming with me and Sharon. Love her to bits, but I haven't really asked her much about laughter yoga, and I'm intrigued. So I'm going to put together lots of questions for Sharon, but I will also put out a post on my Facebook page asking for your questions so that we can really find out everything we need to know about laughter yoga, because it's fascinating and it has loads of health benefits as well as emotional ones. So look out for that. Let me know what your questions are for Sharon, and we'll really grill her. So that one will probably be a bit longer, of about 30 minutes. And so we can really get into some depth with Sharon, and we're going to have a go, and it's bound to be a big laugh. And so make sure you're there, next week, 9:30 on my page. If you can't make it live, then be there for the replay. If you haven't already, make sure you've liked my page so that you can get all the notifications. And now off you go. Be kind to yourself all day, and thank you so much for watching and for being here with me. Thank you, Tina. I'm glad that that's your aim for today. I'm really chuffed. Let me know how that goes for you. And I will speak to you all really, really soon in the next video next Friday. Take care. Bye-bye. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It's a really lovely, kind of gentle, spiritual kind of video this week, and I really enjoyed making it. That's not a word. Really enjoyed making it for you. And if you would like to join in next time, as you saw, if you watched all the way to the end, next time we're talking to Sharon Branner, who is going to tell us all about laughter yoga, and we're going to do some laughter yoga as well and have a little bit of a try with it and see what it's like, and it should be really, really good, and obviously lots of fun, and we're going to have a laugh. So if you want to join in with that live, then you need to be on my page at 9:30 on Friday the 8th of September, and you can join in with the laughing live. If you can't join me then by all means you can catch it on the replay on my page, or if you make sure you subscribe to my channel right here, then I will put it up a few days afterwards, and after I've edited it, because I like to put this intro and outro on there for you and make it a little bit snazzy. So once I've done all of that, it will be up on my channel and you will grab it here. in order to make sure you get that, it's a good idea to click the little notification bell that's down there, and then you'll be notified when I upload and you won't miss a thing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day, and I will speak to you in the next video.